this section, we're going to start learning about the reproductive anatomy in the average female system. Again, this is the normal female biology, by which we mean normal as in the most common. Remember from our talk about gender and sex, a lot of ways that there is individual variation. Intersex is totally a thing. Yes, there are more than two genders, and sex isn't a clear binary. Although we are going to learn, like normal, we're going to learn about, the regular female and the regular male. Just keep in mind, there's all kinds of ways these can be seen in different ways. So let's start with, this is a sagittal section through the female body. The ovaries are the actual gonads. That's where the eggs are going to form. The eggs are the female gametes. Remember that from the beginning of this chapter. The ovary is connected to the uterus by the fallopian tube, which that's that tube here. It's also called the uterine tube. And it's not actually, the ovary is not actually connected to the fallopian tube the way we normally have tubes connected. This one, remember, these developed as separate embryonic structures. And so the fallopian tube has these little finger-like projections called fimbriae that kind of hang on to the ovary and catch eggs as they're released from the ovary. But it's not, connected the way other structures are. The uterus is this organ here, has a really, really thick wall, usually is anteverted, meaning that it folds toward the front. Sometimes in women after they have been pregnant, it will be retroverted. Often that's not a problem, but it can cause problems sometimes in pregnancies, in second pregnancies. The opening to the uterus is called the cervix, and it's actually this whole thing. The cervical canal is this whole part. Remember, cervix means neck, so this opening is the neck of the uterus. Now, please note, the uterus sits on top of this structure here, which hopefully you recognize this as the urinary bladder. So you can see the intertwined detrusor muscle in the wall of the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder is connected to the outside environment by the urethra. The urethra is just a simple tube. The uterus is connected to the outside environment by the vagina, which is a more muscular tube with a ridged wall. And don't confuse those two, please. And please don't confuse either of them with this tube back here, which is the rectum, which opens to the anus. Thank you very much. All right. The vagina, like I said, is this walled tube. The opening is the vaginal orifice. Here it is posterior to the opening for the urethra. The clitoris sits here between the anterior ends of the labia minora. The vaginal orifice and the urethral orifice are both protected by these two folds of tissue. The labia minora are the smaller ones. They have a lot of mucus-making cells, and they have lots and lots of nerve endings. And then the labia majora are these thick, fatty, padded layers of tissue. The labia minora join at the front, and the clitoris is right there. The clitoris is very, very sensitive, and it is an erectile body. It is homologous to the penis, meaning that it forms from the same embryonic tissue, which means that it is also an erectile body and becomes erect during sexual excitement. So please, please remember that. If you want to please a woman, know about the clitoris. The external genitalia, all of this stuff that we can see from the outside, not including the orifices. This is called the vulva. Okay, it includes the labia majora, the labia minora, the clitoris, and the vestibule. Remember, a vestibule is just kind of an opening. This is not the vagina. This is the vulva. Okay, I don't care what a woman is wearing. You can't see her vagina. In order to see the vagina, you need a speculum to hold the vaginal orifice open so that you can see inside, because the vagina is inside. So you cannot see a woman's vajayjay. You may see her, I don't know, vulvae, but not her vajayjay. Please correct your speech. The thick pad of tissue here, it's got a pad of fat under it and protects the bone there. That's called the mons pubis, or just the mons, okay? And that's where most of the pubic hair is, okay? That is the external and the primary internal gross anatomy of the female system: the ovary, the fallopian tubes, the uterus, opening with the cervix into the vagina, not to be confused with the urethra. The clitoris is here. It is an erectile body. The labia minora is here. The labia majora are here. And that's the female anatomy.